On the wedding day, Marcus, 10 hours late, burst into the ballroom carrying a woman. He shoved me aside from the stage and cried his eyes out in front of everyone. Tiffany is my true love. If I don't marry her today, I'll die right here. They shared a passionate kiss right there. I paid no mind to the mocking laughter from the audience below, stumbling over to grab his sleeve. Marcus, I've loved you for 10 years, I even gave you my kidney. Do you really want this? You'll regret it. Marcus raised his hand and slapped me. Regret? Getting rid of a useless simp like you and marrying Tiffany, an heiress from a prominent family. I'm smiling in my dreams. I'll never regret this in my life. But when I became the sole heiress of the Evergreen family in Metropolis and got engaged to his arch-nemesis, Ethan, he knelt and begged me to come back to him. Eleanor tore off my white veil and violently pushed me off the stage. You're an orphan of unknown origin. Do you really think you can marry into wealth and status? She pointed at me, her face full of contempt. Has Tiffany now, you should get lost. Marcus snatched the officiant's microphone, swaggering as he put his arm around Tiffany's waist. I announce, the wedding continues. The bride is the long-lost heiress of the Evergreen family, Tiffany. The guests who had just blessed me moments ago now vied to offer their congratulations to the new couple on the stage. My eyes were red. Marcus, after your successful kidney transplant, we swore to the heavens, forever and always. His face was full of disdain. Grace, that kidney was given to me willingly. You cried and begged me to accept it. That was proof of your love for me, not a bargaining chip to blackmail me. 5 years ago, he lay dying in a hospital room, diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure. It was I who, despite my family's objections, insisted on getting tested for a match. When the doctor announced a successful match, he grabbed my hand and cried, "Lee. Who a child, Grace, you are my life. In this lifetime, my life, Marcus, is yours. I swear, I will never let you down." His past vows still echoed in my ears, but now only undisguised disdain remained. Take off the wedding dress. Eleanor's sharp voice rang out. This wedding dress was bought with Marcus's money. You don't deserve to wear it. She rushed forward, and with another Vance family relative, brutally stripped the wedding dress from me. Despite my struggles, left only in my undergarments, I was starkly exposed to hundreds of scornful and pitying gazes. Tiffany nestled in Marcus's arms, her face filled with triumph. Ms. Grace, oh no, I should call you Grace now. Marcus loves me, and I'm the one who can help his career. As an orphan, stop your foolish fantasies. She coyly caressed her flat stomach. What's more, I already have Marcus's child. We are the true family. I looked at her face and suddenly smiled. There is only one Evergreen family in Metropolis. From childhood to adulthood, I've never heard of anyone like you in our family. Tiffany's face instantly paled, and panic flashed in her eyes. Marcus, however, didn't notice her unusual reaction. He shielded Tiffany completely behind him and roared at me, Grace, that's enough. Just because you have humble origins, you can't stand to see others do well? Tiffany is kind-hearted, unlike you, so malicious. She's my perfect match. Tiffany quickly regained her composure, adopting the posture of a true heiress. Our family is large and prosperous with many distant relatives. It's perfectly normal for an illegitimate person like you not to have heard of me. She suddenly pointed at me as if enlightened. Oh, I remember now. You're probably some poor relative, barely connected to the Evergreen family, who tried to impersonate a Vance family member to scam money from our family's scholarship foundation. But you failed due to poor qualifications, didn't you? She sneered. Couldn't scam money, so you ran here to slander me, the real Evergreen family heiress? How utterly ridiculous. Scholarship foundation? My heart skipped a beat, a name and that face overlapped. Grandpa had established a scholarship foundation under the name of Evergreen, specifically to assist students from disadvantaged backgrounds. I had seen Tiffany's name on the scholarship recipient list. A student from a disadvantaged background who could only complete her studies with the help of my family's scholarship dares to impersonate an Evergreen family heiress? And then accuse me, the true heir, of being a bastard trying to scam money? Richard stepped forward. Grace, our Vance family is not unreasonable. We already knew about Tiffany's background. She is the patriarch of the Evergreen family's most beloved granddaughter, and also the designated heir. Marcus's choice is for the future of the Vance family. Don't be too sad. He looked down at me, his eyes filled with pity mixed with condescension. Your eye is too narrow-minded, you only see romantic affairs. Marcus and Tiffany are well-matched in social status. I almost laughed out loud. A student from a disadvantaged background, supported by my family's foundation, became their so-called designated heir? And I, the sole heir of the Evergreen family, became a narrow-minded stumbling block? Marcus pulled out a debit card and threw it on the ground. 100,000. Is that enough? Grace, stop bothering me, it's really pathetic. 100,000? I donated a kidney for him, accompanied him from having nothing to building a successful small company. Our 10 years were only worth 100,000. I laughed. As I laughed, tears streamed uncontrollably from my eyes. My body went limp, and I collapsed heavily. Dazed, I heard Marcus's impatient roar, "Security! Security! Drag this woman out. Don't let her ruin my wedding." That Tiffany in the VIP suite next door certainly makes a grand entrance. Isn't that the bride from you wedding? I heard she just twisted her ankle, and the Vance family is incredibly nervous. The whole family is fussing around her, saying she was frightened, worried about affecting the pregnancy. I struggled to open my eyes and found myself lying in a hospital room, the nurse's chatter drifting into my ears. Pregnancy worries? No wonder. Who exactly is she, for the Vance family to cherish her so much? You still don't know? I heard the Vance family's new son-in-law boasting everywhere that he married the apple of the evergreen family's eye from Metropolis, named Tiffany. She's from a top prominent family. I leaned against the wall, inching my way to the VIP suite door. The door was ajar, and Eleanor's voice came from inside. Finally got rid of that jinx. Eleanor laughed heartily. Son, now that you have Tiffany, our family can completely overshadow Ethan. Marcus has good judgment, Richard said smugly, cutting our losses in time and bringing new life to our Vance family. My blood felt frozen. New life for the Vance family? What about me? Was I just trash, chewed up and spit out, then casually discarded? Oh, Marcus, be gentle, my foot hurts. Tiffany was acting coy. Shoo, let me blow on it for you. Marcus's voice held a tenderness I had never received in 10 years. I'm willing to do anything to marry you. Tiffany, don't worry, I won't let you suffer any injustice. He paused, his voice incredibly solemn. Dad, Mom, I've made up my mind. The 50% of the company shares I promised to give Grace as prenuptial assets, I will immediately transfer them to Tiffany's name as a betrothal gift for marrying her. My heart was fiercely clenched. That was my hard work, built step by step, enduring countless all-nighters and meeting countless clients with him. Now, he was giving everything I had worked for to an imposter, as a betrothal gift to marry her. I laughed, shaking uncontrollably. I moved back to my hospital room, took out my phone, and dialed a number I thought I would never contact again. Ethan. Is the childhood betrothal between the Evergreen family and the Northwood family from 20 years ago still valid? A voice, suppressed for a long time, came from the other end of the line. I've waited for you for 20 years, Grace. The hospital room door opened. Ethan walked in and said, I'm here to take you away. He didn't give me a chance to refuse, directly picked me up, and walked steadily out of the hospital room. His assistant had already handled everything. I remembered when I was 7, he shielded me, taking the stones thrown at me. I remembered when I was 15, the whole class ostracized me, and he silently signed his name next to mine on the group assignment list. I remembered 3 years ago, when Marcus's company was on the verge of collapse, yet unexpectedly received a life-saving project. I later heard that Ethan, the biggest competitor, had voluntarily withdrawn from the bidding at the last moment. He had been there all along. He took me home and settled me in, saying only one thing before he left. You'll accompany me to the charity gala in a few days. At the gala, Ethan was called away by several elders to exchange pleasantries. I stood alone in a corner. Oh, Grace? Tiffany, dressed in a magnificent gown, clung tightly to Marcus. Her gaze swept over me, finally resting on Ethan's assistant, who was waiting beside me. I really underestimated you. You found a new master so quickly. But this taste, isn't it a bit too undiscriminating? The assistant's face immediately darkened, and he was about to speak. I glanced at him, and he swallowed his words. My silence, in Tiffany's eyes, was synonymous with weakness and easy bullying. She deliberately raised her voice so that everyone around could hear. Marcus, look, some people just can't live without a man. Even if it's just a driver, they're willing to throw themselves at him. Marcus snorted, not stopping her behavior. I quietly watched her performance, as if watching a play that had nothing to do with me. This, however, made Tiffany feel ignored, and her face grew several shades uglier. The highlight of the gala was the auction of an antique crown named Heart of Dawn. Marcus, trying to show off in front of Tiffany, bravely raised his paddle several times. But his financial resources quickly ran dry, and he made a fool of himself in front of the truly prominent families. Just then, Ethan returned. He merely stood at the entrance and casually raised his paddle once. The price he called out instantly silenced the entire room. No one else bid. Under countless gazes, he walked through the crowd, straight to me. He took the crown, gently placed it on my head, then took the microphone and put his arm around my waist. Allow me to introduce you all. Grace, my fiancée. The whole room erupted in an uproar. Marcus's face instantly lost all color. This is impossible. Marcus roared, pointing at me. Ethan, are you out of your mind? Picking up my discarded woman and treating her like a treasure. Before he could finish, Ethan had already completely shielded me behind him, his eyes icy. Marcus. From the moment you laid a hand on her, in my eyes, you are already a dead man. Ethan's undisguised murderous intent made Marcus's legs turn to jelly. Extreme fear made Marcus delirious. Ethan, don't get ahead of yourself. Do you think the Evergreen family is someone you can climb up to? Let me tell you, my Tiffany is the patriarch of the Evergreen family's most beloved granddaughter. Tiffany pulled out an invitation, shouting to the guests, open your eyes and look closely. This is a VIP invitation the patriarch of the Evergreen family specially sent someone to deliver, inviting Marcus to my cousin's engagement party. She suddenly turned and glared at us. Ethan, who do you think you are? If you offend the Evergreen family, just wait to be thrown out with this bitch. At the gate of Evergreen, Marcus and Tiffany blocked our path. Marcus looked Ethan up and down, his eyes filled with contempt. Mr. Ethan, what act are you putting on? Begging for mercy at the Evergreen family's door? Too bad, you're not welcome here today. Tiffany arrogantly lifted her chin and said to me, look carefully, this is my cousin's engagement party. Who do you think you are, to be worthy of coming here? Ethan's eyes grew cold. I squeezed his hand, signaling him not to move. Then I walked around them and directly into the estate. From behind me came Tiffany's sneer. Trash that got dumped, really thinks she can marry into wealth and status. She doesn't even look at whether she's worthy. Ethan and I ignored them, entered the ballroom, and found a corner to sit down. Meanwhile, Marcus's family of four headed towards the table closest to the main stage, drawing attention from many guests. A moment later, Grandpa arrived. Marcus immediately pulled Tiffany and hurried over, followed by Richard and Eleanor. The patriarch. In-laws. Their words were cut short by bodyguards. The four Vance family members became even more eager, their faces plastered with fawning smiles, bowing and scraping through the human wall. Grandpa walked onto the main stage and took the microphone. Esteemed guests, thank you for honoring us with your presence tonight at my granddaughter's engagement ceremony. Tiffany suddenly sighed. My cousin is just too introverted, she's incredibly nervous with such a large crowd. She leaned intimately against Marcus. She even specially told Marcus and me to help entertain the distinguished guests. Mrs. Thompson next to her immediately understood implicitly and flattered. Ms. Tiffany and the Evergreen family's eldest daughter have such a deep sisterly bond, it's truly rare. With Tiffany and Mr. Marcus here, the patriarch can rest assured. Tiffany's chin lifted even higher. Grandpa's gaze swept across the room and then settled on me. Tonight is the day my only beloved granddaughter, Grace, and Mr. Ethan of Northwood formalize their engagement. Ethan and I walked out from the corner, and all eyes in the room converged on us. Grace? The who was dumped by Marcus? Marcus's smile instantly froze. He suddenly looked up, wondering if he was hallucinating. Tiffany's face drained of color, and Richard and Eleanor's fawning expressions turned utterly pale. My gaze met Marcus's, his face was filled with horror. Tiffany's face. Richard and Eleanor's bodies trembled violently. I walked up to Tiffany. Ms. Tiffany, that cousin you just mentioned who's getting engaged, is that me? Her eyes were filled with panic, and her lips trembled, unable to utter a single word. Grandpa's voice rang out. Tiffany? You're old Evans's daughter, aren't you? I remember, weren't you expelled from university? And I heard you owe high interest loans outside? What, now you're even impersonating my granddaughter? Grandpa's tone deepened. My family funded your education because we saw your parents' difficulties and wanted you to have a future. I never expected to raise such an ungrateful person who bites the hand that feeds them. Effective immediately, all funding for Tiffany is to be stopped. After the engagement party, everyone knew the Vance family had offended both the Evergreen and Northwood families. Vance stock plummeted to worthless paper overnight. Banks came knocking for debts, partners terminated projects, and even the astonishing amount of high-interest loans Tiffany owed led creditors to besiege the Vance family home. 3 days later, it poured rain. Marcus knelt outside the iron gates of my Evergreen. Grace! I was wrong. I was blind. It was all that bitch Tiffany. She tricked me. She said she was your cousin, said she could help me, that's why," he stammered, his voice choked with sobs. "I kicked her out. I have nothing to do with her anymore. Grace, please look at me again, look at me. Everything I did was to be worthy of you." I appeared before him, holding an umbrella. He saw me and scrambled towards me, grabbing my ankle. "Grace, why didn't you tell me?" He looked up, his eyes full of grievance. "If only you had told me who you were earlier, how could we have ended up like this? I chose wrong, Grace, I chose wrong. But can you blame me entirely? You were always lying to me. You gave that bitch Tiffany an opportunity." An extreme absurdity welled up in my heart. He actually resented me for not presenting myself as the sole evergreen family heir earlier. In his eyes, my status was all that mattered. My voice was calm. "So, Marcus, what you're saying is, if I had revealed my identity as the evergreen family heiress earlier, you wouldn't have abandoned me, right? When I gave up my exchange student spot at Wharton School for him, and pulled countless all-nighters creating business plans for him, why didn't he say I was deceiving him? When I, who couldn't eat anything spicy, learned to cook Hunan cuisine for him and ended up in the hospital with stomach cramps, why didn't he say I was deceiving him? I simply asked him calmly, "What did I lie to you about?" Marcus was speechless. He probably couldn't figure out himself what I had that was worth lying about. I took out a wooden charm. Marcus's pupils suddenly constricted. 3 years ago, when your company's capital chain broke and you hit dead ends everywhere, I hid it from my family, walked 99 steps to the hilltop, and prayed for this for you. The day you received it, you hugged me and said it was the best gift you'd ever received, and you'd wear it forever. I looked at his pale face and smiled. When I found it, it was stuck in the seat crack of the Maserati you gave Tiffany. Next to it, there was a used condom. Marcus's body trembled violently. I threw the charm in front of him. "Marcus, you're not incapable of love. You just think my love is too cheap, unworthy of your desire to be above others." His forehead heavy. Ly hit the muddy ground. "Grace, give me another chance. Please, I don't want anything else, just you." A figure scrambled over. It was Marcus's assistant. "Mr. Marcus, this is bad. It's over. Everything is over. Tiffany." Tiffany absconded with all the money in the company's accounts. She's already left the country. She's nowhere to be found. Marcus froze, as if struck by lightning. The assistant pulled a rain-soaked letter from his embrace and handed it over with trembling hands. "She also left you a letter. Marcus, you brainless idiot. Did you really think I was some heiress cousin? What a joke. Your petty ambitions are a laughingstock to me. Thanks for your generosity. That little money from your company is enough for me to live lavishly abroad for the rest of my life. I'm gone, don't miss me." Marcus stared intently at the letter, his entire body trembling violently. "Ha ha 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 ha." Suddenly, he burst into laughter, laughing more and more deliriously. A mouthful of fresh blood gushed out, and then he rolled his eyes back and fell backward onto the ground. The assistant was terrified, rushing to help him. "Mr. Marcus! Mr. Marcus!" I quietly watched the scene, then spoke to the security guards behind me. "Take him to the hospital. Don't let him die at my doorstep." 3 days later, in the psychiatric hospital, I saw Marcus. He was curled up in a corner of the hospital room, his eyes vacant, muttering to himself. "Money! My money! Tiffany, bitch! Grace, Grace!" He hugged a pillow, so thin he was barely recognizable. The nurse said he had been like that since he woke up, sometimes crying, sometimes laughing, recognizing no one. The diagnosis, acute schizophrenia. Vance officially announced bankruptcy liquidation. As I walked out of the hospital, 2 figures suddenly rushed out from the side, blocking my path. It was Richard and Eleanor. In just a few days, they looked as if they had aged 20 years. "Grace!" Eleanor's voice was real, you jinx. You ruined our family so badly. Richard pointed at my nose, trembling all over. "What did our Marcus ever do to you, that you had to destroy him? Destroy our family? He's insane now. The company's gone. Are you satisfied? Are you happy?" I said nothing. There was no reasoning with mad people. In their logic, others were always wrong. Seeing my silence, Eleanor's curses grew more vicious. "You're a jinx. Whoever gets involved with you has bad luck. I was cursed by you. You're clearly the evergreen family heiress. Why didn't you say so sooner? You deliberately strung us along. Watched us get tricked by that bitch Tiffany like monkeys. You have such a cruel heart." As she spoke, she actually raised her hand to scratch my face. Richard was even more enraged. "I'll beat you to death, you jinx." A large hand grabbed Richard's wrist, and his face instantly twisted in pain. Ethan stood in front of me. He shielded me completely behind him. You want to touch her? Slap. Before could react, Ethan slapped him across the face with his other hand. Richard was stunned by the slap. Eleanor rushed forward and pulled Richard away. Let's go. Let's go. Her resentful gaze fixed on me. Grace. You bitch. You wait. You'll get your comeuppance. Our whole family won't rest in peace until we get you. You just wait for me. Grace. Give me back my son. A piercing wail tore through the celebration venue. A commotion spread through the crowd as a disheveled, delirious woman with wild hair rushed towards the stage, wildly swinging her arms. It was Eleanor. Her eyes were bloodshot, her face contorted with extreme malice, and in her hand she held up a brown glass bottle containing half a bottle of yellowish-brown liquid bubbling ominously. You destroyed our entire family. You won't get off easy either. Her voice was hoarse. I'm going to scar that alluring face of yours. I'm going to make your life worse than death. I'm going to go to hell with you. In that moment, my mind went blank, and I even forgot to dodge. In the nick of time, a great force violently pulled me backward, and I crashed heavily into a solid embrace. Sizzle, an ear-splitting screech of corrosion, accompanied by the sound of fabric instantly burning through, pierced my ears. Immediately after, a strong, pungent smell of burning chemicals entered my nostrils. I could feel the arms convulsing violently that were wrapped around me. The owner of the arms was enduring excruciating pain. Ethan had shielded me from the lethal attack with his back. Ah! The guests' screams below rang out, and the scene instantly spiraled out of control. Security personnel snapped out of their daze, swarming forward and finally pinning the delirious Eleanor to the ground. In a corner not far away, Richard, who had also tried to rush forward, was firmly restrained. Let me go. I'm going to tear her apart. Tear this bitch apart. Eleanor's face was pressed firmly to the ground, yet she still let out extremely malicious screeches. I forcefully pushed away Ethan's arms, anxiously turning to look at him. With just one glance, my blood froze. His expensive, custom-made suit had been corroded with a large hole, and the shirt and flesh underneath were peeled back, stuck together, bloody and mangled. But he paid no attention to it, reaching out his hands to cup my face, anxiously checking my entire body. Are you okay? His voice was hoarse with pain. Did anything splash on you? Let me see quickly. My heart was fiercely clenched, and tears streamed uncontrollably. Ethan. Seeing me cry, he still tried to force a comforting smile. Don't cry. I'm fine. As soon as he finished speaking, his tensed body could no longer support him, and he fell straight backward. Richard and Eleanor were taken away by the police on the spot for attempted murder and endangering public safety. This attack, through the lenses of countless media outlets present, spread across the entire network. In the psychiatric hospital, Marcus was staring blankly at the flat-screen TV on the wall. In the news footage, his parents were now wearing cold handcuffs, being shamefully escorted into a police car by officers. The reporter's clear voice came through. The liquid used by the Vance couple was highly concentrated industrial-strength acid. Northwood CEO, Mr. Ethan, suffered severe burns to his back while protecting his fiancée, Ms. Grace, and is currently undergoing emergency treatment. Marcus's dry lips parted slightly, as if he wanted to say something. Humph. A strange screech escaped his throat, and then his eyes rolled back, and he fell to the floor, his limbs convulsing uncontrollably. Nurses and doctors rushed over. After emergency treatment, they delivered the final diagnosis. Acute brainstem stroke, resulting in extensive irreversible damage. Marcus became a person in a vegetative state. In the VIP suite, Ethan slept soundly, his face pale. The doctor said he was out of danger. The industrial-strength acid Eleanor splashed was extremely corrosive, burning through skin, muscle, and even damaging nerve clusters. If he hadn't completely shielded me with his entire back, I would be the one lying in there now. Just then, a sudden phone ringing sound broke the silence. It was Marcus's phone. After he was diagnosed as a person in a vegetative state, his phone had been handed over to me by the police. I picked it up numbly. Tiffany flashed on the screen. I swiped to answer. From the other end of the line came Tiffany's frightened voice. Marcus? Is that you? You finally answered my call. Her voice was thick with sobs. Say something. Say something quickly. Marcus, save me. Please hurry and save me. I was tricked. That wealthy businessman who promised to make me a big star was a scammer. He coaxed me into signing a bunch of high-interest loan contracts, then disappeared. He didn't give me a single cent. I'm being held by local thugs now. They're forcing me to pay back the money, but I don't have any, they said. They said if I don't pay them back today, they'll sell me to the black market. I don't want to. I don't want to. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Please come save me. You must have a way, right? Are you begging him? My voice was very quiet. On the other end of the phone, there was only a gasp. He can't help you anymore. He's already a useless person who can't understand or move anymore. I paused. Also, the owner of this phone won't be answering calls anymore. With that, I hung up. Later, my secretary casually mentioned during a schedule report. Tiffany, unable to repay the astonishing amount of high-interest loans, was sold to a lawless land by her creditors. It was rumored that her final destination was some private clinic. The gnarly scar on Ethan's back had healed, and the newly grown skin was a faint pink in the sunlight. I looked at the man by the window, trimming flower branches for me. He had a tall and stately figure, and his profile was impeccable. The sunlight fell on him, bathing him in a golden glow. That so-called wealthy businessman Tiffany met, you arranged him, didn't you? I broke the silence. He paused in his trimming of the flower branches, neither admitting nor denying. He looked deeply at me, his eyes filled only with unabashed possessiveness and undeniable devotion. She shouldn't covet what doesn't belong to her, and she certainly shouldn't hurt you. His voice was calm. I looked directly into his eyes. Ethan, if I hadn't discovered Marcus's true colors, if I had remained stubbornly deluded, what would you have done to me? He was silent for a long time, so long that I thought this question had touched his forbidden zone and he wouldn't answer. Then he finally spoke. I would wait. He stepped closer and pulled me tightly into his embrace. I would wait. Grace, I've waited for you for 20 years. I don't mind waiting a few more. I would watch him be smug and foolishly arrogant. I would watch him take everything you sacrificed for him as a stepping stone to rapid success, and then, at his most triumphant moment, he paused, his embrace tightening. I would give him a push, make him commit a mistake that would leave him forever ruined. Until you were completely disillusioned with him, until you cried and turned to look back at me. Grace, the one who can stand by your side, in the past, present, and future, can only be me. Richard and Eleanor were sentenced to life imprisonment for attempted murder, endangering public safety, and other charges. Vance went through bankruptcy liquidation. As for Marcus, after he was diagnosed as a person in a vegetative state, the hospital had contacted me. I sent my assistant to handle it, giving only one instruction: stop all expensive medications and transfer him to the most ordinary public nursing home. Just make sure he doesn't starve to death. 6 months later, the merger and reorganization of Evergreen and Northwood were successfully completed, forming a business empire unrivaled in the industry. I chose to have a low-key wedding at Evergreen, with only our closest family and dear friends as guests. 2 years later, on a Caribbean island beach, I leaned back in a lounge chair, watching a pair of adorable fraternal twins not far away, chasing the retreating waves with bare feet, their giggles echoing far and wide. They were my children, Ethan's and mine. A soft light blanket was gently placed over me. Ethan had walked up behind me unnoticed, and he leaned down, embracing me, his chin resting lightly on the top of my head. He looked at the children running and playing on the beach, and said to me, "Content, Grace, everything has returned to how it should be." I rested securely against his broad chest, my heart filled with happiness. Yes, everything had returned. All that was owed to me had been repaid. All that I cherish was now by my side. My life had finally returned to its true course. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.